Hey, Terry. Good morning.
Hey, Wade.
Good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, how's your morning going?
Going good. Yep.
All right. Excellent.
Little cool up here in Escanaba in the UP.
Oh, really? Yeah. You're way up there. That's right. What is the temperature?
Yep. But it's supposed to be in the high 50s next week. So we're heading into our spring.
Okay. About time, huh?
All time is right. Yeah. All right.
So we should have some more people joining us. It's going to be a fairly small class, but that's good. We can kind of let the learners dictate the direction a little bit.
Yeah. See, these classes, when I'm taking these classes, I work for UpCap and I'm with the federal government. They pay me. And I have to take a class like this. I have to take 5 of them a week.
Oh,
in order to get my paycheck again.
okay.
So that's why I'm taking these classes.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the people and stuff, and I've been enjoying you guys. You do a good job. You all do a great job. Yep.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
Yep.
There's some more people coming in.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Nettie. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
Oh, doing wonderful.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning, Terry.
Yes, Nettie. Good morning to you.
Okay. Paul, you there? You're muted. If you want to unmute Paul and say hi.
Oh, connecting to audio. Okay.
Janet's coming in. Hey, Janet, can you hear us? Sometimes it takes a minute for the audio to connect. Paul or Janet, can you hear me yet? If you can, just unmute and say hi so I know that your microphone's working and I can hear you when this class starts. Here's Judy coming in. Oh, there's Janet. I see you're unmuted. Can you hear me? I'm not sure. Janet, we're not hearing you if you're talking. If you're trying to say something, send me a text, a chat. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on.
Now can you hear me?
Yep, now I got you, Janet.
Thank you. I had to play
Good.
around with my stuff,
Sometimes it takes a little while. That's why
Yes.
we take the first 4 or 5 minutes to get everybody to get their technology working.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
good to have you. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I took this class before, but I need to have some refresher.
Oh, it's perfectly okay to take them again. A lot of people take them again. And it's
Yeah.
never the same class twice because, the questions kind of send us off in different directions. So
They do.
it's not like watching a YouTube again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you available for questions now?
Yeah, we've got another minute or so here before we
Okay.
officially start.
Facebook, it's privately owned, is it not? Shareholders now.
I think it's public, but I'm not sure, to be honest.
Well, I guess I'm going to question about the censorship people are upset about. And it's like going to a cable TV who'd only supply certain channels. Maybe they only supply some conversations and not others, which is not all bad. But I'm thinking that's the logic I have, and maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into that side of things. I know there's lots of controversy around that, but
Yeah.
as big as they are, I would be surprised if they're still privately owned, but yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Well, thank you.
Say hey, Judy. See you there.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for doing this. I'm wondering, because my husband has a doctor's appointment in about a half an hour, so I'll have to leave a little early. Is it Is this the kind of program I can ask get set up for a recording of?
Yeah, we do. You can get a recording. And let me go ahead and put this in the chat since you're going to be leaving early. And of course, you can take it again as well, though.
Right.
If you'd like to take the whole class again, you can do that. But you can get a recording of this one.
But the only thing I guess that's missing, do you have slides? So that'll be missing, or maybe
Nope, you'll see everything. You'll hear the audio and see the video.
Oh, okay. So I won't.
I just put an email address there. Oh, well, I typed it in wrong.
Oh, good, because I think when I once asked them, they said sometimes that you might have a slide, your own slideshow, that then they wouldn't have that. But
we don't send out the slides, but if you get the recording, you can see the slides on your screen when you're
oh,
watching.
you can. Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thanks
I
so
didn't
much.
put the whole email address. So just send an email to help@getsetup.io and just ask for a copy of the recordings, and they'll send that out to you.
Oh, great. And then I'll see the slides. Perfect.
Yeah. But feel free to take it again if you want to as well. Let's see, Marianne, see you come in. Welcome. And we're going to go ahead. We used to take the first 4 to 5 minutes to get a chance for everybody to log in. Hey, Marianne, and get their technology working. I think I've heard from everybody, so you do need to be able to mute and unmute yourself. If you want to show your video, it's down in the right beside the mute where it says start video. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I got some preliminaries to get out of the way first, some housekeeping issues before we jump into the agenda. Give time if anybody else comes in. We've got a couple of other people signed up that aren't here yet. But let me start by sharing my screen. And then I need to move your pictures around so I can see all of you. And give me just a minute to get that done. All right. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be muting whenever I start to hear background noises. So far, it's quiet, so I'm going to leave it unmuted for now. But if we start to pick up background noise, I will mute everyone. So just be sure to check and unmute yourself before you ask a question, so I'll be able to hear you. I do want you to ask questions and make comments, so please feel free to do that. And you can do that at any time. Don't need to raise your hand or anything, just unmute and ask away. We've got a fairly small group today, so that's very manageable. I'm also going to open the chat, and I do have the chat window open. So if you're having trouble with your microphone, you can reach me via the chat. But if your mic is working, please just go ahead and ask your question out loud. That way everyone else can hear your question, and I'll hear your questions on a timely basis. Sometimes I get behind in the chat if things are moving quickly. But if you are having trouble with your microphone, the chat is now open where I can see it. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and officially open the class. So this is Facebook, what it is, how it works, and why join. By the title, you can tell this is the introductory class for Facebook. And I want to welcome all of you to the class. I'm Wade Yarbrough, and I'll be the guide for this class. Very briefly, a little bit about me. I'm from a small town in Tennessee called Mason, about 500 people. We're about 35 miles out of Memphis. I have a PhD in psychology, experimental psychology, but I've also always worked with technology. So I spent most of my time installing and training users how to use hospital and physician office information systems. So I've done a lot of adult training, but I'm really enjoying working at Get Set Up because the nice thing here is that I'm working with people that are taking the class because they're interested in the class, not because their employer made them take the class. So, and that's really what Get Set Up tries to do. We try to create an environment where people enjoy learning. They can interact with the other learners and interact with the guides in a nice, safe situation. So we hope you're enjoying the classes. You can request a recording of the class, as we were talking about earlier, and just send an email to help@getsetup.io. That is also in the chat already. Be sure to include the name of the class and the date you attended it, because only people that attended the class can get a copy of the recording. We are live streaming the course this morning as well. So any of you joining us via live stream, we want to welcome you to the class and hope you enjoy it as well. But we do want to suggest that you go ahead and register for classes and join in, so that way you can actually interact with the other learners and interact with your guide. I think that way you can get the full Get Set Up experience. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote specific products. We are trainers. Our revenue comes from our training activities. All right, so let's talk about the agenda today. So we're going to start with just a kind of a brief review of what Facebook is and why so many people are using it. We'll talk about how and why posts appear on your news feed. That's one of the biggest questions and issues people have with Facebook. There's too much stuff on their feed. We'll talk about how to interact with posts, how to make your own posts, and finally, how to find and manage friends. There are several other Facebook classes that we have. Okay, thank you. One is all about privacy on Facebook. There's a lot of privacy issues, and so that is a big topic. That's an hour-long class in and of itself. So I'll make several references to these other classes showing you where they interface with this class, but that's agenda we won't be able to cover here. Facebook Messenger is the messaging app. That's how you can send text messages to other people on Facebook. I'll show you what that is, but that's another hour-long class. And finally, we have a class on Facebook groups, how to find and join groups. Again, we'll talk briefly about that, but that's another class as well. So really, there's 4 hours worth of Facebook material if you want the whole package. So let's start at the beginning. What is Facebook? Facebook is a platform intended for finding, networking, and connecting with friends. That was Facebook's original mission. It is still its mission. It tries to help people find friends and connect and interact. Facebook is the most popular social network worldwide. Facebook has 1.8 billion daily active users. So that's not people that have a login. That is people that are on the system each day. So there's almost 2 billion people log into Facebook each day. Amazing. And you can access it via the web browser, which is what we're going to be using today. You can also download an app for your tablet or smartphone and access Facebook that way. It looks a little different, acts a little different with the app. So we're not going to be covering that today. So if you're trying to follow along via the app, it's going to be difficult. And there's some things you can only do with the browser version, which is why that's what we're going to use today, because that way I can go over all the functions and features. So if you aren't on a browser, you may just want to watch my screen and see how it works, and then try it when you get onto a browser. And as we mentioned earlier, you can get a copy of the recording if you want to play that again when you're on the browser. So why do people use Facebook? With that many people on, there must be something going on that people enjoy. And there's several reasons to use Facebook. One is to stay connected with family and friends. So that's really critical these days when we're not traveling as much as we used to and having face-to-face interactions with family and friends. You can stay connected via Facebook, see pictures of other people, find out what they're doing. It's a good way to keep connected. You can find and reconnect with old friends. That's something a lot of people do with Facebook. I've done that as well. So if you're wondering what your best friend from 3rd grade is doing these days, and you haven't seen them for 60 years, you can probably track them down and find them on Facebook and reconnect. You can find and connect with new friends. And that's where Facebook groups comes in. We mentioned there's another class on Facebook groups. Any kind of hobby that you've got, any passion you've got, there is a Facebook group out there, guaranteed. There's probably 10 or 15 different ones. So if you love stamp collecting, knitting, sports, anything, you can find a group of people that like the same things and make new friends, interact with that group or around that common interest. So that's Facebook groups. And then you can also find and get updates from organizations and businesses. So you can follow an organization, get updates from them. So it's not just interacting with other individuals. You can also get information from organizations and businesses. I'm going through this background material fairly quickly. So again, if I go over something too quickly or you have questions, please just unmute and ask your question. There's 3 terms I want to define because I'll be using these and want to make sure everybody is thinking the same thing when I use these terms. One is just own Facebook. And when we say someone is on Facebook, that means they have a Facebook account. They can log in. And anyone that is on Facebook can see the public posts, the public profile, and they can message anyone else that is on Facebook. So that's kind of the lowest common denominator, but people that are just on Facebook can interact in all these ways. What Facebook wants you to do is to find friends and actually escalate that relationship up to a friend relationship. Friend relationship is a two-way commitment. Someone asks you to be friends and you agree, or you ask someone to be friends and they agree. It takes both to agree. That bumps up this on Facebook level to a friends level. And if you're following people, then you can see their posts that they send just to friends. And a lot of people post just to their friends. And you can see a lot more of their profile as well. Most people restrict their public profile to just the basic information about them, whereas the friend profile has a lot more information. And even though you can message anyone on Facebook, if it's a friend, the friends list acts like your telephone book, your telephone directory, to make it easy to contact those people. So it's much easier to message a friend than someone that's just on Facebook. And then the last term is following. Following is a one-way activity, and that originated with what's are called pages. I said that organizations and businesses and even celebrities often will create a page on Facebook, and a page is a way for them to send information out, but there's no information coming in. So I can follow Blue Cross's Facebook page. I'll see information that they post, but they don't get anything that I post. It's a one-way commitment. Now, a friend is actually two following relationships together. So you can unfollow a friend as well. And we'll talk about how that works in a few minutes. But for pages, the only thing you can do is follow a page. Questions about those three terms? Okay. Yeah, Judy, you're muted if you had a question.
So when you say a page, is that like, for example, I'm interested in watercolor. Is the page like a community like that? Or what's a page versus a friend?
Yeah, a page is, like I said, it's primarily created by companies and organizations, not by a person.
Okay, so if a Facebook that is for people who are all interested in artwork, that would be under the friend situation.
That would be a group. Yeah. So, but then you could be friends with anyone that's in that group. But best way to think about it is you're friends with people you follow, organizations.
Okay. And again, with the group, probably it kind of does it kind of like become a friend? Like you probably have to ask to be let in and that kind of thing?
Yeah. A group is a group of friends. I mean, so there's, so you join a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
And I'll talk about that briefly, but again, there's another whole class on groups because that's a big topic in and of itself. Okay. Yeah. So I think as we get into the details, this will probably become a little more clear.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to Facebook. Hopefully everybody already has a Facebook account. If you don't, you can just go to facebook.com and create an account. There's no charge, obviously, and it's a fairly easy to create it. If you want to have that app on your smartphone or tablet, you just go to the App Store and download it. And if you don't have an account yet, you can create an account as part of that. If you already have an account, then you just enter your account information into the app and you're now working with the app. I'm going to just do a quick overview of the page. As you can tell, there's a lot going on this page to kind of help you piece it all together. So over here on the left, I kind of call this the table of contents. These are the different areas within Facebook you can go to. And when I click this See More, you can see there's lots and lots of places you can go to. Facebook is huge. It's got lots of information and growing every year. That's why we got 4 hours worth of topics, and we're going to add a couple more. Across the top up here are really our shortcuts to some of these places over here. These are the ones that Facebook wants you to use the most and thinks you use the most. So they've given you shortcuts. So for instance, this is Facebook Marketplace. Over here, you've also got Marketplace. So whether you click it here or here, you end up the same place. Marketplace is where you can buy and sell things. It's like Craigslist on Facebook. It's for individuals to sell things to other individuals. Groups we talked about. Here's groups here. This is groups up here. We'll talk briefly about groups, but again, that's mostly covered in another section. Well, let me go and tap into groups while we're here and talking about it. And so when you go into groups, these are the groups that I belong to. I like the Far Side cartoons, one of my interests. So I belong to 2 different groups that of other people that like Far Side. This is a group of people that buy and sell in Brunswick County where I live. Wilmington yard sale group. So these are other groups that do yard sales. Lots of times your high school will have a group, so you can join this group and interact with people you went to school with. And here's people shopping within Apex, North Carolina. So if you click into one of these groups, it'll have posts from people that are in that group that you can then interact with. So we'll talk about your main feed. This is like a separate feed that just belongs to that group, but it works like any other feed. So that's very briefly what a group is. I'm going to click the home button here to go back home where we were. Going on across the top here, the plus is how you can add. You can post things. You can create, if you want to put an ad out there on the Facebook Marketplace, you can do that from here. So this is how you can add things, and we'll cover several of these in the class today. This is Facebook Messenger. I mentioned there's another whole class on Facebook Messenger, but if I'm on Facebook Messenger and maybe I see something that Karen Michelle Yarber posted and I'm interested in asking her a question about that, I could just come over here and there she is. All your friends are in here. So I can just click here and send her a text just like you would do from your phone. You can also do an audio call or a video call with that person as well. So that's very briefly what Facebook Messenger is. Again, another whole class on that one. And then notifications and settings, we'll talk about it a little bit later in the class. The center part is where most of the action is. This top part are stories. Let me briefly tell you what stories are. We'll come back later and talk about posting a story, but there's 2 main places you can post on Facebook. You can post a story or you can post to the news feed, this is called. The biggest difference between the 2 is if you post something on the news feed, it's there forever. I can go back and see things I posted 15 years ago on the news feed. And other people can as well. These stories disappear in 24 hours. So they're meant to be short. Whoops, we're picking up a little background noise there. Let me mute everybody quickly. So it's just a way to do what they call a story. Typically it's a picture, it could be several pictures, could be a short video. I'll click into, I'll just click into this one. So this is going to be 2 pictures. You can tell because there's a little gap and then another picture. And they last about a minute or less. That one's done. Now this is somebody else's story. There's 2 pictures. So that's how they work. I'm going to go back to the home screen. I personally don't use stories a lot, but again, they're a way to put something out very quickly. But the biggest part about it is 24 hours from now, these will all be gone. They won't be on my screen anymore. Questions about stories? And I'll show you how to create one of those a little bit later if you wanted to post a story. Most people post in the feed. That's the original place, and that's where most people still do that. This is how you post on the feed. We're going to come back and do that in a few minutes as well after we kind of do the overview. And then this is something called rooms. We're not going to talk about this. We're going to have another class on this one as well. Rooms are like Zoom. So if you you can create a room in Facebook, and invite people, and it'll look just like our Zoom session. You'll have, each person will have their picture on the screen. You can see them all. You can talk to each other. A lot of people use Facebook rooms to get together with family and friends virtually. So, but it works, very much like Zoom does. And then this is the feed. This is where you can see things that your friends have posted. Let's talk a little bit about how stuff gets on your feed and what the feed looks like. We'll start with this one, but parts of a post, it first has the person that posted it. And if you click on that person's name, it will take you to their profile. I'll do that quickly. So this is that person's profile. This tells you information about that person, where they live, where they work, where they went to school, what kind of things they like. And it shows you all of their previous posts. There's the one that we're just seeing. You have a profile as well. I'll show you your profile in a few minutes, where you can determine what's going on there. But that's how you can go and find out more information about the person that posted that. And we'll go in there a little bit more later. And it's already moved away. We'll grab a different one. Okay, here's another one. So over here is how you can enter, and actually we're gonna stick for now with just how things get on your feed and how to get to the profile. I'm gonna come back and talk about the other parts of the post in just a couple of minutes. So this is from a friend. The other way something can end up on your post is if it says sponsored, this is an advertisement. So this organization has paid Facebook to put this on my feed. So anytime you see sponsored, that means it's a paid advertisement. And I think I saw another one up here, which is, yes, this is from a page as opposed to a person gets set up. So it gets set up as an organization. They have a page, but I follow that organization. So their posts will show up on my feed as well. So basically, things in your feed typically come from your friends, from sponsors, or from pages that you follow. Questions about any of that basic information? Okay, let me show you how you can interact with a post.
Hello. Sometimes when I go onto Facebook, I see that the post has been up for a day or two and it never came through my feed. Other people have commented on it and I've never seen it before. Why would there be that delay?
Yeah, that's a good question, because there's something called the Facebook algorithm, and that is an artificial intelligence engine that determines when and how it posts. Oh, bye. It's my wife and my dog heading off for their walk. Close the door. So think about if I'm following, and this is not unusual, I don't, but some people follow 500 people. Some people follow 1,000 people. And if every one of those people posted hit your feed at exactly the same time, this would look like a ticker tape flying by. So what Facebook does, Facebook decides when it's going to post something on your feed. So if you're a friend of mine and I post something, you may see it immediately. You may not see it for an hour. You may not see it for several hours, or maybe even a day later, because out of all that stuff that it's trying to funnel into your feed, it decides what you want to, what to put there. And it makes that decision based on what it thinks you want to see. So it tries to put the things first on your feed that it thinks you want to see based on your activity, which is why we're going to talk about activity. That was a great segue into this topic. By how you interact with the posts, that's how you tell Facebook what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. So the first way you can interact with a post is up here in the upper right, this triple dot. And this is how you can tell Facebook, I don't like this post. I want to see fewer posts like this. Now, if you do that once, doesn't give Facebook much to go on. But if you do that frequently and consistently, hiding certain types of posts, Facebook will figure that out. I'm a big dog lover, you can probably tell. And I don't like the posts where they show the abused dogs, even though it may be an animal shelter posting it. I just don't want to see those pictures. They upset me. So whenever I see one of those, I would hit hide post. I never see them anymore. So after about 4 or 5 times, Facebook figured out, okay, Wade doesn't like pictures of abused animals. I'll stop showing him those kind of pictures. So that's how hide post is one way to train Facebook what you like and what you don't like in this case. Now
So
I can, yeah.
I have a question on the save video. So I could save that video and then where would I find it?
Okay, I'll do that in just a minute for you.
Thank
Don't let me forget. Let me show you a couple other things and we'll do that on the way out.
Can I ask you? You're saying that no matter what I do, if I don't have if I just have an iPad or an iPhone, I'm not going to get all this stuff, right?
Well, from an iPad, you can open a browser, open your Safari browser on iPad and get the same thing I'm seeing. So it could be a browser on a tablet. If you're running the app on a tablet, it looks different.
I don't have all those. So I will try.
Yeah, if you're using the app, it's going to look different. Yeah, if you, like I said, if you open Safari browser and just type facebook.com, it should open, it should look the same, I think, on Safari on an iPad. I don't have an iPad, but yeah. Now, the other thing you can do from here is I can unfollow Get Set Up. So I'm following that organization. Remember, you follow organizations. So I could say, stop showing me anything from Get Set Up anymore. This just says, I don't want to I want to continue to follow Get Set Up. I just don't like that particular post for some reason. I want to see the rest of their post. I just didn't like that one. So that's the difference between these two. Does that make sense? All right, let me save this video and I'll show you how that works. So I can save this video and you can create what are called collections. You know, those are like folders. So you can keep the things you're saving in folders, makes it easier to find, or you can just have them all in one big folder. I'm going to create a new folder, a new collection, because I don't have one. I'll create a collection for Get Set Up. And I'll create that, and then it'll then put that into that folder. So if I want to come back to this later, because lots of times people will say that maybe they want to comment on it, they want to look at it some more, but they're busy. And if you don't save it in a half an hour or an hour, this post will be way down in my feed somewhere. It may be hard to find it again. Since I saved it, I can come over here to saved. And there it is right there. And here's my my collection. So if I want to just see that collection, I can click into this one. There's only one thing in there.
Now, wait, I don't remember how we get to that drop down for saved.
Yep, okay, we'll go there again. So let me go back home. It's this triple dot at the top up here.
Okay.
So this is how you can save, as well as tell Facebook, I don't like this post, and I want to unfollow this organization. If it's an organization, a page. I'm gonna go down to, I'm gonna mention this on the way by here because sometimes these are hard to find. In the middle of your feed, it's gonna have people you may know. Facebook is always trying to help you find friends. Facebook wants you to have lots of friends. And so these are people that you may know that Facebook is telling you about. So if you recognize one of these people and want to be friends with them, you can send them a friend request. We'll talk more about this later. There's several other ways that Facebook shows you potential friends, but this is one. That's why this has popped up in my feed, people you may know. There's another ad, sponsored. Okay, let me go into this one. Now this is, instead of an organization, this is a friend. James used to look like this. James looks like this now. He's been on a huge weight loss campaign. Very successful, but I'm gonna click on the same triple dots and it's pretty similar, but in this case, I'm unfollowing, but really works pretty much the same. I can save the post, I can hide this post, but still follow him, or I can unfollow him. So if you're friends with somebody and you unfollow them, I no longer see James's posts. James can still see mine. He still follows me. I just don't want to follow him anymore. And James is not told that I've unfollowed him. So if you get tired of somebody's posts and don't want to see him anymore, you can unfollow him. Snoozing is a 30-day unfollow. It says, don't show me any of his posts for 30 days. People do that typically if someone is just posting a whole lot, they're getting tired of seeing all their posts. So they say, I need to take a break from this person for 30 days, but then put them back on my list again. Questions about these options in the triple dot? Okay. I'm going to go down
Can I ask a
and talk
question?
about things. Sure. Go ahead.
Some of my posts that I've been going back and forth, some of my posts don't have as much on that 3 dots. You know, when I went, some of them don't have everything. They just have follower or what was it?
They're,
Anyway,
yeah, they're
they had-
different depending on what, like if it's a sponsor instead of a friend, then you've got fewer options.
yeah, you still got
So
more
it does
options
depend
than
on
I
where
do.
the post came from, because I can't unfriend this person because they're not friends. I can't unfollow because I don't follow them. So pretty much all I can do here is just say, hide this ad and don't show it to me anymore.
Okay,
So
thank
that's
you.
probably what, yeah. So that's why I talked about the 3 different ways things show up on your feed. What you can do with the 3 dots is slightly different depending on whether it's sponsored, if it's a page, or it's a friend.
Thank you.
Okay, so sure. Let's go on down and to the bottom where we talk about how we can interact with that post. And there's 3 things you can do. You can like that post. And used to be all it did was just put the heart there. Now you've got different options. You can do a thumbs up or you can do different emojis. It's all basically the same thing. It's telling that person you like that post. I'll just do a thumbs up. I've now, it's highlighted showing me I've liked that post. It will also let James know that I liked his post. You can comment. If I click comment, I can write a comment here. You can see some people have commented. Veldine commented, and then James actually commented on her comment. So if someone comments on one of your posts, you can comment on their comment. You know, I could reply to the comment of the comment. So you can just
So
keep replying.
So everyone can see the comments?
Yes, yes. Anyone that can see this post can see the comments. Yeah. So if
Can
I wanted to
everybody-
write a comment, I would just write it right here.
Should everybody reply to all the comments?
Nope. I mean, you can. Somebody liked this comment, so you
Okay,
can. But typically, you're only interacting with the initial post, the original post.
That's what I thought. I thought it was somebody that made the post would comment, but that you weren't supposed to put in a heart or something.
Oh no, yeah. This is really meant for other people to like or comment or share James's posts. And
But the one below that,
below that, again, most people don't, but you can. Like if for some reason I wanted to reply to her comment, I can reply here. Or I mean, reply right here, and it will reply to her comment. So
thank you.
a lot of people really get into this. So maybe this person said something, I disagree with what she said, and I could say, no, Valdine, you're wrong. That is not the case. So in this case, I'm replying to her reply. I'm not replying to the original post. It gets a little confusing as you start getting down into multiple levels. And for the most part, what I've seen is people reply to the post, and sometime the person that posted it will come back and thank the person for replying like James did here. But you don't really usually get into multiple levels. Okay. Now, one thing that we mentioned, I talked about Facebook paying attention and trying to show you what it thinks you want to see. By liking and commenting and sharing posts, that tells the Facebook algorithm you like something about this. And again, if you're consistent, so I like dogs. If I like every post that has a dog in it, Facebook figures out I like dogs. Facebook will show me more posts with dogs. If I never like a cat one, then it's going to show me more dogs than cats. So that's kind of how, by liking, commenting, and sharing, that's always you tell Facebook, I like what I'm reading, show me more of it.
A question on share. You
Yep.
can share it with anybody.
Yep, we'll go there next. So we did like and comment. Let's do share. And you've got a lot of different ways to share. You can share now public, which means it'll put it on your feed and post as public. So it could go on anyone's feed. You can share it to your news feed, which means you get to pick who it goes to. And we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. I can share it as a story. So I can put it into a story under my stories. I can send it to somebody via Messenger. So maybe I just want to tell my wife about this post. I think she might want to see it. I can click send in Messenger, and it will open up Facebook Messenger, and I'll send her a message, like a text message.
And only
The
she
link.
sees it.
Yeah, then she'll see it whenever she sees her Messenger posts. And you can share it to a group. We've talked about groups. So he went to my high school, so I may want to share this with my group of high school friends, etc. So lots of different ways to share. Most people share it on their feed, but you can do the other ways of sharing as well. All right.
What does it automatically do if you don't, like, I always just hit share and share it. I assume it goes to my news feed or it goes to whoever I send it to.
No, it goes to your feed. So, and we're going to talk next about and this will make more sense after we post something, which is where we're going next. But if you share now public, it just puts it on your feed as public. If you share to news feed, it's going to let you pick who you're going to share it with, whose feeds you're going to put it on. And let's go post something, and then we'll come back to this maybe to make this will probably make more sense because
Okay. Thank you.
what that means. Because so that's where we're going to go next anyway. Yeah, let's go post something. So we kind of talked a lot about seeing what's on your feed. Let's show how you can put something on someone else's feed. Two ways to do it. You can start typing here, or you can click plus up here and say post. Either of these is going to take you to exactly the same place. Just two ways to get there. And you notice that most of the posts are a picture and comments about the picture. So to do that, you would come down here where it says photo video. And it opens up, I'm on a Windows device. It opens my file search, and I can pull pictures off of my computer or any place else I have access to. I'm going to go to my iCloud photos where most of my pictures are. And I can grab a picture. And just click open, and it'll open that. It'll bring that picture in slowly. So it's filling it in. There it is. And then this is where you can type something about it. So that's basically a quick post. There's other things you can do when you're posting. You can tag someone. And what that means is, let's say there's somebody you want to make sure sees this post. If I tag someone, I'll tag Michelle. And I can tag more people. If I want to tag some additional people, it'll keep adding them in here. But I'm just going to tag her. I'm going to say done. And it's now tagged her. It says Karen Michelle Yarborough. What it's going to do is it will send her an email saying Wade tagged you in a post, and then there'll be a link from that email back to this post, so to make sure she can see it. You can also add stickers and other things, emojis, and most people just do pictures and with some comments around the picture. Here's the most important thing, and this is what I was just talking about, is this is what's called the audience selector. This is whose feed do you want to put this on? And public means that anyone out, and actually I should have mentioned this in terms of the feed. Sometimes you'll see something on your feed from someone that's not a friend. So that's really a fourth way. This doesn't happen that a lot. But if you post something as public, Facebook can put that on anyone's feed. Where this might happen, I'll use my example. If I keep liking dog pictures and someone that's not a friend of mine posts a dog picture and that picture gets lots of likes and lots of comments, so Facebook knows this is a very popular dog picture. Wade likes dogs. I'll put that on his feed. So that's where sometimes you may have a post on your feed from someone you're not friends with. And that is why, and they posted it as public. That's basically telling Facebook, you can put this on anyone's feed that you want to. And it also lets anyone that sees that post share it with all of their friends and post it to anyone else as well. Whereas the other primary option is just friends. So in this case, only my friends can see that post. There's a whole bunch of other options here, and we go over this in the privacy class because this is really getting into privacy where you're controlling what, who can see your posts. I'll just briefly mention a couple of these, but this is fairly extensive to go through all of it. You can say all my friends, friends except certain people, only specific friends. So I can go in and pick 5, 10, 15 people I want to put it on their feeds, but not all my friends. And there's all sorts of other ways you can post it to groups. So again, we go over that in the privacy class because that's, takes a good bit. Most people, I'd say 95% of the posts are public or friends. That's where most people post. Most people don't get into this very much. Does everybody understand the difference between public and friends? So right now mine is set to public. I'll go ahead and leave that as public. And now I go back and it's now saying public here. And if I'm done, I just hit post.
Wade, how do you do friends, but not, how do you set up that friends, but select friends, I guess. I can't remember what that said.
Yep, you do it on a case-by-case basis. So I'll do this one quickly.
Oh, I see.
So I just go in and say, I want to share it with Anne and Anita, and see it's building a list down here as I'm clicking. So if I said, go ahead and save, it'll only send it to those 4 people.
Okay.
So that's how you can pick specific friends. Okay. I'm going to leave it as public. Okay. Yep. Other questions before I hit post? Go ahead and post that. And so that now goes onto my feed. It also will eventually go on the feeds of all my friends, not immediately. As we talked before, some people may see it immediately. Some people may not see it for hours. Mm-hmm. And the other place that you spend most of your time, on your home feed. The other place is in your profile. And there's 2 ways to get to your profile, your picture here or your picture over here. We talked about profiles already. This is your profile that you control. And here it is over here. So this is called your timeline. And this is basically showing you everything you've ever posted. I mean, I can go back and see something I posted 15 years ago, literally. Everything is here. And so if someone comes to my profile, they can see what I've posted if I've agreed to let them see it. You can control what people, we talked about a public profile versus a friend's profile. You can define what someone that's just on Facebook can see on your profile versus what you want your friends to see. And most people let their friends see a lot more information than the public. And that's in the privacy class. We talk about that a lot. I'll show you how to do that. But that's the 2 places that that post ended up. Now, let me go back to share for a second now that we've talked about that, and it'll make a little more sense, I think. So when I share, this is sharing public. So it automatically just sends it out to everybody as a public one. If I click this one, it lets me pick who I want to share it with. I can pick that audience selector. So I may want to send this to only certain people or whatever. So if I pick public, it just sends it out. I never do anything else. If I put it on my news feed, that means I get to change the audience here. That makes sense. That's a little confusing.
Mhm.
So that's why you would pick one versus the other. Automatically goes as a public post. I get to pick which of my friends' feeds it will go to. Questions about the feed or posting? I'm trying to keep track of time here. So I do want to talk a little bit about friends was the other thing we were going to talk about. Let's go there and do that. And then if we have time for questions, we can come back to it. But, especially people that are new, friends is a big issue in terms of getting friends, finding friends, managing friends. And there's several ways to get to your friends, but the best way I think is from your profile. So if you click on your profile, there's a link here where it says friends. It'll tell you how many friends you have. If I click on that, it will bring up access to my friends. It first just has them all listed here. And if you don't have a lot, you can scroll through and find the ones you're looking for. If you have 1,000, you probably need some help. There's some filters here. Like this filter shows me all the friends that went to the same high school that I did. These are friends that live in the same city where I currently live. These are people that we have the same hometown, etc. Several things you can actually just search. So if you want to search for a person here, you can search for Bob. There's always a Bob. Oh, no. Let's try Bill. I do have a Bob friend. Wait, it's searching high school. All friends, Bob. That is interesting. Okay. I guess I don't have a Bob, but Bill, he'd be Bill Ray. So you can search by name anyway. So once you've got the list up, there's several things you can do. I can go to his profile. We've already been there, but if I want to go to his profile, but if I click the triple dot here, anytime you see a triple dot, it means you can do something more. Again, this is where I can unfriend this person. I can unfollow this person. So these are kind of negative things I can do, but I can also mark him as a favorite. And if you mark someone as a favorite, that tells Facebook, I like his post. Always put his post on my feed first. So as soon as James posts something, I'll see it immediately.
Oh.
Now, Bill, I don't have set that way. He's not marked as a favorite. So Bill's post would probably show up later on my feed. So another way you can sort of tell Facebook what you like, what you want to see first. So you don't want to mark everybody as favorites. Probably the top 4 or 5 people that you really like, you should mark as favorites. Now the questions about, that's how you would see and manage your friends as well as unfriending and unfollowing. The next thing is to find friends. So if you're looking for people, if you're fairly new and you want to add people to your friends list, click Find Friends. And it'll take you here. It starts with the friend requests. These are people that have sent me a friend request that I need to respond to. I haven't done that yet. I need to do that. But if I recognize Teresa Hill and I want to be friends with her, I can confirm. It also tells me that we have one mutual friend that sometimes will help you figure out who that person is. Like in this case, all these people went to my high school. He or she must be from my high school. I don't recognize the name. What I can do is click on their name and it'll take you to their profile. And I can see whatever she is showing to the public because we're not friends yet, which is not very much. And that's what most people do. They don't tell you very much about themselves until you're friends. I can see common friends. And I mentioned you can message anyone on Facebook. So even though we're not friends, I could send her a message and say, hey, are you the APETI that used to go out with such and such, or that lives on such and such a street, and kind of talk to them before you decide to friend them or not.
And how would you send her the message?
Right here, just click message right there. And I can type a message right there. So you can send a message to anybody on Facebook. So that's another way you might want to check with them. If you think you know who they are, but you're not sure, and there's something in common, you can ask them about to confirm that that really is the person you're looking for. The other way is I showed you in the feed where it said people you may know. This is another people you may know. So again, Facebook is showing you people it thinks you'll know, primarily based on common friends, but sometimes it's based on people that work the same place you used to work or live in the town you currently live in. So you can scroll through here and see other people that you might want to be friends with.
Wait, just a real quick question. I just popped back in for a minute. If I've forgotten my password to Facebook, is there anything I can do?
There's a forgot password. Click in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just do the forgot password, and they'll
Perfect.
do that little routine with you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So questions. We're just about out of time. All right.
Sometimes you get a post that says that they want you to copy and post it. How do you do that?
I'm not sure about copying and posting. I mean, you could repost it. So sometimes they'll say something like, about send this to all your friends, or if you did a score, forward this to friends, and they're wanting you just to come down here and share it. It's the only thing I've seen that's close to that.
Review how I get a copy of this.
Of the recording?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep, we're going to go right there because we got just 3 minutes left. So I do need to go to my closing, and we'll talk about that again in the closing.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So this is the end of the official class. I want to go through some post-class things here, but I do want to thank you for attending the class, and I hope you enjoyed the class and learned some things about Facebook. And I mentioned the related classes already, the Facebook groups and the privacy on Facebook classes.
Thanks a lot, Wade.
All right. Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
For those of you that are new, I want to make sure you know what's going to happen after class. So after class, you'll get an email. And as part of that email, it's going to have several sections to it. One section is some class notes, and there'll also be some links there to websites that will review some of the same material we covered in class, as well as some additional related material. There'll be links to 3 other classes. If you want to take one of those classes, you can just click that link, and it will take you right to the registration page, a nice quick shortcut. There's a give feedback link. That opens our feedback page. Really 2 questions. They want to rate the class, the session, 1 to 5 stars, rate the guide 1 to 5 stars. There's a place here for comments around both why you gave that rating. And that's all you have to do, hit done. Very quick feedback form. So I hope you are enjoying Get Set Up, and that you'll share the word with other people. We partner with lots of organizations, and if you belong to any organizations, we'd love for you to tell them about us as well. I want to again go over how you get a copy of the recording. So again, you can get a copy of the recording. It'll have the audio and the video, so you'll see all the slides again. Just send an email to help@getsetup.io. Write that down if you don't have that written down. And be sure include the name of the class and the date you attended it. And they will send you out a link to the recording so you can watch it again. Help@getsetup.io. And then the last thing.
Do you recommend any printed material
We don't
on
provide any.
Facebook?
We don't provide any printed material, but in that email there'll be links to a couple of online tutorials and some more information that way if you want to learn some more about Facebook. Yeah. So that'll be in that
Thank
email.
you. And thank you again for the class.
Thank you. And the last link just takes you to view schedule, takes you to our website where you can book another class. And just real quickly, because we're out of time, but I'll show you a quick way to find information. So if you're looking for more Facebook classes, the best thing to do is come up here where it says search and just type Facebook. And it'll show you all the Facebook classes. So if you want to take that Facebook Messenger class, it's right there, or the Facebook Groups class. And here's the privacy class. You can just click on any one of those and it'll take you to the registration page for that class. Okay. All right. So I do want to thank you all for attending. Hope you enjoyed the class and hope I see you again in another class really soon. Thanks very much for attending.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye now.